Hello everybody and welcome to chapter 7 of the book of Bereishit as we continue to travel through Tanach. Chapter 7 has 24 verses in it and it is found in the Koren Sachs Chumash on page 48 and 49. In this chapter we are going to see the final call for Noach and his family to board the ark along with all of the animals that he was going to be saving, and we are going to finally break the myth that the animals went in 2 by 2. What we're actually going to see is that Noach took in 7 pairs of every kosher animal species, not just 2. We're also going to see that Noach was 600 years old when he entered the ark. And we're also going to shatter another myth about how long Noach was on the ark for. If you thought that he was only on the ark for 40 days and 40 nights, you're about to get a pleasant surprise. It rains for 40 days and 40 nights. What we'll actually see by the time he comes out in chapter 8, he was on board for an entire year. So with that in mind, let's start chapter 7, verse 1. Vayomer Adonai leNoach. Hashem says to Noach, Bo ata v'chol beisacha el hateva. Enter the ark, you and all your household. Ki osacha ra'isi tzadik lefanai bador hazeh. For I have seen that you alone are righteous before me in this generation, and therefore worthy of being saved. Verse 2, Mikol habehema hatahara, from all of the pure animals, meaning the kosher animals, tikach lecha shiva, ish ve'ishto. Take 7 and 7 pairs essentially, male and female. Umin habehema asher lo taharahi, shanaim ish ve'ishto. And for all of the animals that are not pure, i.e., that is all of the non-kosher animals, you should take 2 of each of them, male and female. A fascinating little insight here. The opposite of tahora is not lo tahora. The opposite of tahora is actually tme'ah. So why doesn't this verse say, Mikol habehema hatahora, all of the pure animals you shall take, umin habehema asher tme'ah, and all of the impure animals you shall take? And our rabbis deduce from here that we should always be careful with the way that we speak. Always try and maintain clean speech. Verse 3. Gam me'of hashamayim shiva zachar unekeva. Also take 7 pairs of each kind of bird, male and female, l'chayos zera al panei chol haaretz, to keep their species alive across the earth. Verse 4. Ki liyamim od shiva anochi mamtir al haaretz arba'im yom v'arba'im laila. Because in 7 days' time I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. Umachisi, and I will wipe es kol hayakum asher asisi mi'al panei ha'adama. I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. It's curious here that Hashem gives Noach warning that in 7 days' time the rain is going to start, because he's actually had 120 years to build this ark. And the reason why he was given so much time was so that he would hopefully realize that he needs to encourage everybody around him to start doing teshuvah, to start reflecting on their actions and to start to correct their behavior in the hope of thwarting the flood. And yet we see 120 years later, he still needs a 7-day reminder. Verse 5, Vayas Noach k'chol asher tzivahu Adonai. Noach did all that Hashem commanded him. Verse 6, V'Noach ben sheish me'os shana. Noach was 600 years old. V'hamabul hayamayim al haaretz, when the flood waters came upon the earth. Verse 7, Vayavon Noach uvanav ve'ishto. Noach came with his sons and his wife, unashei vanav, and his sons' wives, ito elateva, they came with him into the ark, mipnei mehamabul, because of the waters of the flood. And what's curious here is that his entrance to the ark comes after the previous verse in which we talk about the flood waters coming. And our rabbis deduce from here that actually Noach didn't still believe that the flood was going to come. And it was only when he sees the water, he sees the rain landing on the earth, the flood starting to appear, that he realizes, oh, right, better get into the ark then. Verse 8, Min ha-behema ha-tahora, from the pure animals, umin ha-behema asher einena tahora, and the animals that were not pure, umin ha-off, and from the birds, asher romes alo adama, and all that walked on the earth, Shnayim ba'u el Noach. They came to Noach 2 by 2, El Hateva, into the ark, Zachar unekeva, male and female, Kashed Tziva Elohim es Noach. Just as Hashem had commanded Noach. Verse 10, Vayihi l'shivas hayamim, and after 7 days, Umei hamabul hayu al haaretz, and the flood waters came upon the earth. Verse 11, Bishnas sheish meyos shana l'chaye Noach, in the 600th year of Noach's life, B'chodesh Hasheni, in the 2nd month, B'shiva asar yom l'chodesh, on the 17th day of the month. Bayom hazeh, on this day, Nivka'u, kol maynos tahom rabbah, all the well springs of the great deep burst, tahom rabbah, not just any ordinary tahom, not just any ordinary deep, but the tahom rabbah, the great deep. And our rabbis say, midah keneged midah, this is a commensurate response from Hashem, because the evil that the people were doing in society was so rabbah, was so great, that the floodwaters came from the tahom rabbah, the deepest parts of the deep, va'arubos hashamayim niftachu, and the floodgates of heaven opened. Truly a rain of biblical proportions. Verse 12, Vayihi hageshem ala haaretz, the rain fell on the earth, arba'im yom va'arba'im laila, for 40 days and for 40 nights. Verse 13, Be'etzem hayom hazeh, on that very day, ba Noach v'shem v'cham v'yefes b'nei Noach, on that day Noach, along with his sons, Shem, Cham, and Yefes, v'eshes Noach, and Noach's wife, u'shloshes neshei vanav itam el hateva, and his sons' 3 wives entered the ark. Verse 14, Hema v'chol hachaya lemina, with them came every kind of wild beast, v'chol habehema lemina, and every kind of animal, v'chol haromes al haaretz leminehu, and every species of creeping, crawling creature of the land, v'chol ha'of leminehu, and every kind of flying creature, kol tzipor, kol kanaf, every bird and every winged thing. Verse 15, Vayavo el Noach el hateva, they came to Noach into the ark, Shnayim, 2 by 2, Mikol habasar asher bo ruach chayim, of all flesh that had within it the breath of life. Verse 16, Vahabaim zachar unekeva, Mikol basar bo, they came, male and female of all flesh, Kashed Tziva so Elohim, just as God had commanded him. Vayiskor Adonai ba'ado, and then Hashem was the one who shut the door to the ark. Verse 17, Vayihi hamabul arba'im yom al haaretz, for 40 days the flood came upon the earth. Vayirbu hamayim, the waters swelled, they increased. Vayisu es hateva, they lifted the ark, vataram me'al haaretz, so that it rose above the land. Verse 18, Vayigberu hamayim, the waters got stronger. Vayirbu ma'od al haaretz, and swelled enormously on the earth. Vatelech hateva al pnei hamayim, and the ark began to drift on the surface of the water. Verse 19, Vahamayim gavru ma'od ma'od, the waters continued to get stronger and stronger. Al haaretz, on the land. Vayechusu kol heharim hagvoim asher tachas kol hashamayim, until all of the high mountains beneath all the heavens were covered. Verse 20, Chamesh esrei ama milamala gavru hamayim, 15 amot, 15 cubits above them, the waters continued to rise. Vayechusu heharim, and the mountains were covered. Verse 21, Vayigva kol basar haromes al haaretz, all flesh that moved upon the earth perished. Ba'of, the birds, uvabehema, the animals, uvachaya, the wild beasts, uvachol hasheretz al haaretz, and all the creatures that swarm on the earth, v'chol ha'adam, and all of mankind. Verse 22, Kol asher nishmas ruach chayim ba'apav, every living thing on the face of the earth, mikol asher becharava, everything that was on dry land, mesu, was wiped out, died. Verse 23, Vayimach es kol hayakum asher al pnei ha'adama, everything got wiped out from the face of the earth, me'adam ad behema, from humans to animals, ad remes va'ad of hashamayim, from creeping creatures to winged birds of the heaven. Vayimachu min haaretz, all were wiped from the earth. Vayishayar ach Noach va'asher ito bateva, only Noach and those with him in the ark survived. And finally, verse 24 to conclude chapter 7. Vayigberu hamayim al haaretz chamishim u'ma'as yom. For 150 days the waters surged over the earth. And that concludes chapter 7. Tomorrow we will read chapter 8, in which we will continue the story of Noach and the flood, and sending forth the raven and the dove to be able to see if the water had receded and the earth was starting to dry. And towards the end of chapter 8, we will read of the command for Noach and his family and all of the animals to leave the ark, followed by an offering that Noach brings at the end of the next chapter. But until then, have a wonderful and meaningful day.